Marc Molinaro. Marc, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. You take a break, have me on. I can hang out here.
Let's get you so you don't have to hang out.
I just on the Trump thing. I had a quote from Trey Gowdy I wanted to share. We'll get to it later.
What did he say? I'm interested.
Trey Gowdy's comment was not as critical, but if you read between the lines, he really was. His statement was, "I am confident former CIA director and current Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, DNI Dan Coats, Ambassador Nikki Haley, FBI Director Chris Wray, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and others will be able to communicate to the president that it is possible to conclude that Russia interfered with our election in 2016 without delegitimizing his electoral success." So, in other words, you don't have to run out and say how you won and it wasn't Russia's fault every time.
My God, it's just mind-baffling. I don't get it. Marc Molinaro, do you want to comment on yesterday?
It was entirely inappropriate, period. It was just entirely inappropriate. Russia is no friend of the United States. Russia sought to and did interfere in an American election, and they're doing it across the globe. And I think it's without question that we need to make that perfectly clear and not blink an eye. Don't give them an inch. And sadly, I think I think we can do better.
Yeah. And believe me, I do not bash Donald Trump every day. It's just it got old really quickly. I'm not a big Trump fan necessarily, but I was rooting for him yesterday. It is us against them. I was rooting for President Trump yesterday. I was hoping to be able to walk out of there and say, yeah, we spanked him a little bit. We stood strong, and we didn't do that. And when I say we, I think it's important to understand. This isn't Donald Trump, the embarrassment yesterday. It's us. We as a country, we put everything into him, and he is our president, and that was what I think hurts. That's just my take on all of it. Listen, I want to ask you about. First of all, you were at the Boilermaker.
I was. Ran pretty well, too. I think I picked up about four minutes from last year.
How about that? It's amazing what a campaign will do for you, right? It's like, I better pick this up.
That's right.
So, again, great event. It shows that good things can happen here.
Oh, listen, I love it. I mean, I do run more than campaigns. I run often. It is by far, in my opinion, the best race in the state. I say that, and I'll take whatever heat from others. But community members, neighbors lined up across and down the streets. Utica is just a great place to visit. Celebrate along the route. You never feel alone. You always feel encouraged, and it is a tough run, but it's a great way to start a day. And I do like the fact that you have this whole beer party that breaks out.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. It starts bright and early in the morning. People are having their Saranac. What are your listen? I got to tell you something. With everything going on with in the state, we now have. We now have convictions, and these are close to the governor. Nothing has stuck on the governor, but this has got to bolster Nixon's chances. And when her chances get better, yours get even greater. What's your take on all of this?
Listen, I want to say this, though. What we have seen over the last several years and now over the last several months, and I mean this sincerely, anywhere else in America, if a governor had these kind of corruption scandals, guilty verdicts, among his closest allies, I'm sorry, there would be outrage and a call for resignation.
Yeah,
it just would be. I feel like that we have gotten to the point, and I say this, the media and even New Yorkers, where this is just another day. It's not the way it's supposed to be. What we found in the Buffalo scandal, again, the Cuomo corruption trials continue. They rigged the system to benefit one particular company, and that is criminal. And to think that the governor had no idea, his administration had no idea. I've got a bridge to name after you, if you believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, I
well,
don't
I'd
want
like
to
you to name it after his
about
father, if you could. So.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't like being that person. Honestly, I've never run in a position where I've got to be on the attack. But it's just wrong.
Yeah.
What continues to happen is they sell access in exchange for political contributions, and then want us all to believe that it's okay. And what we're seeing consistently is New Yorkers end up being the ATM to these out-of-touch politicians, and it really needs to come to an end.
New York posted a story on Sunday, and they went through a lot of. They didn't mention Utica's Nano project, but Syracuse, that movie house, that's production company that is a part of nanotechnology. I just didn't understand where the tie-in came there. And then, of course, Buffalo Billions and the money that's been spent. And they went case by case and then showed the results. And Howard Zemke's answer to it all is, well, these are projects that are just getting underway. I don't know. It doesn't feel like that way here in Marcy.
No, and when you spend hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money, just getting underway isn't an answer. It's not economic development. It's almost money laundering, taking money from taxpayers across the state of New York and giving it to a select few businesses. It's not right, and it's not producing outcomes. And again, it'd be one thing if the process that got you here wasn't rigged against taxpayers, wasn't meant to defraud taxpayers, but we see the corrupt way in which the dollars are directed to individual projects, and then those projects don't produce. You know, we launched and proposed our Albany Accountability Act. It is, in my opinion, the most sweeping set of reforms that any gubernatorial candidate has produced, and when I'm governor, we're going to move on them. But one of those key points is we will not cut checks to private businesses. That in and of itself is offensive to everyone else in the state of New York, and it's wrought with corruption, and it's what's been on trial. So in my opinion, no direct checks to corporations or to businesses anymore. If you're seeking a contract to do business through the governor's office, you can't contribute to a politician or to a campaign any longer, and end this no-bid, sort of reach around accountability, ensure that there's the appropriate controller's oversight. Keep in mind what occurred in the Buffalo trial, which again is a reflection on the governor, is they rigged the system. They eliminated the oversight. They changed the bid documents. They made it clear that no one would know they sought to make sure nobody would know that this occurred and that there would be no transparency and oversight. We're going to hold Albany accountable when I'm governor, because at the end of the day, this is the fleecing of taxpayers, and it's not producing results.
I want to ask you about we have a race here, a big one in Congress. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney facing off against someone Democrat Anthony Brindisi. I have to tell you, as a Democrat, when we asked him yesterday, who will you vote for governor, he has told us at this point he's not made up his mind. He's a Democrat. You would think that would be pretty easy, but I have a feeling he has a problem, and that is that he knows what's going on, also knows and respects you. Are you familiar with a guy by the name of Brian Maher?
Brian Maher, the former mayor of... where was he mayor? Yes, he worked for Bill Larkin. Yes,
Brian's
down
in service now. Orange County. So
I apologize.
That's all right.
Wait a minute, Brian does not from Utica.
Well, and here's what I have to ask you. Back in, this would have been in 6 years ago. This would have been 2012 when Claudia Tenney was running for the Assembly. There was a direct mail piece that was put out. It was 3 Republicans who came out endorsing Brian Maher from Orange County.
Right. Yes, I was one of them.
And you were one of them. So was Anthony Picenti. So my question is, and I think the headline on the direct mail piece talked about if those who really know her aren't endorsing her. Where do you stand on this race? You know Anthony Brindisi. You have come out against Claudia Tenney previously. Where do you stand on this race?
Listen, I leave those decisions to the voters of districts. I like Claudia. I do. She's a fighter. She is. I've got a good relationship and friendship with Anthony, and the people of this district have to decide. Listen, I think it's important that, frankly, we have as many fighters for the people of New York in Congress, and I look forward to working with Claudia. And should Anthony win, I look forward to working with Anthony.
All right. By the way, that district that is, many believe, and we all know it's true, was the craziest looking district in the entire Assembly.
Oh, the Assembly district was tough, and I understand. I mean, listen, I worked well with her in the state Assembly, and I've got we've worked on similar issues. That was a very, very strange district that reached way down into my region. And you're right. You caught me off guard with Brian's name, but I know Brian quite well.
Well, what made you endorse him over her, the sitting assemblywoman?
I supported Brian. I knew Brian. I worked with Brian. I thought that district would be well represented. But listen, the voters of that district made perfectly clear who they wanted. Claudia has done did a phenomenal job for the assembly for that district, and quite frankly, she's fighting hard for the people of this congressional district. At the end of the day, that's the way it works.
And calling it what it is, she was certainly one of the most vocal against Andrew Cuomo. I know all the Republicans were, but she was.
She is a fierce fighter.
Yeah. No doubt. All right, Marc Molinaro, as always, we appreciate it. We appreciate the fact that you've spent time here and you take the time to speak with us. Oftentimes, Utica, Rome, the Mohawk Valley gets forgotten, and you're not allowing that to happen. We appreciate that.
No, absolutely. Never forget. Never forget.
Thanks so much, Marc Molinaro. We'll do it again. Thanks.